There's a man in Jesus' story who did everything right. He protected his money. He avoided every risk. He played it completely safe. And Jesus called him wicked. Not careless, not reckless, wicked. That should disturb you. Because if playing it safe is wicked, what does that say about the life most people are living right now? By the end of this video, you'll understand why some people completely transform their lives while others spend decades wondering why nothing ever changes. And more importantly, you'll know exactly which path you're on. Jesus told a story about 3 people. All 3 received the same opportunity. All 3 started with something valuable. 2 of them changed their lives forever. 1 of them lost everything. And here's what's shocking. The one who lost everything wasn't the reckless one. It wasn't the greedy one. It was the careful one. The responsible one. The one who just wanted to protect what he had. Hidden inside that twist is a truth so uncomfortable that most people spend their entire lives running from it. But today you're going to face it. Let's be honest with each other. Most of us grew up hearing the same advice. Play it safe. Don't take unnecessary risks. Protect what you have. Wait until you're ready. And honestly, that advice sounds intelligent. It sounds mature. It sounds responsible. So we obey it. We wait for the perfect moment. We wait until we have more money. We wait until we feel more confident. We wait until everything feels certain. And while we're waiting, life keeps moving without us. Maybe you've said this to yourself. I'll start that business when I save enough. I'll apply for that opportunity when I'm more qualified. I'll make my move when the timing is right. But answer this honestly. How many people do you know who have been saying one day for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, yet somehow that day never arrives? Why? Because fear rarely looks like fear. Fear looks like wisdom. Fear looks like patience. Fear looks like being responsible. And because it sounds so reasonable, we obey it. Without realizing that every single day we obey fear, we quietly trade our entire future for temporary comfort. I want you to imagine something. Someone walks up to you today and hands you $1 million, cash, right now. And they say only one thing. When I return, show me what you did with it. What's your first instinct? Most people immediately think, I'd protect it. I'd keep it safe. I wouldn't risk losing it. That thought feels smart. That thought feels responsible. But that thought is exactly what destroyed the 3rd servant. Jesus tells the parable of the talents. A wealthy master is about to leave on a long journey. Before leaving, he calls 3 servants. To the first, he gives 5 talents. To the second, 2 talents. To the third, 1 talent. Now understand, a talent wasn't a skill. A single talent was worth roughly 20 years of wages. This wasn't pocket change. This was a life-changing amount of money. Then the master leaves. The first servant immediately puts his money to work. The second does the same. Neither of them has guarantees. Neither of them knows exactly what will happen. But both decide that movement is better than standing still. The third servant walks outside, finds a quiet spot, digs a hole, and buries it. No risk, no chance of loss, no possibility of failure. And most people hearing this story for the first time think, smart move, At least he didn't lose it. But here's where Jesus completely flips the story. When the master returns, the first servant doubled his 5 talents to 10. The second doubled his 2 to 4. Both are celebrated. Both are rewarded. Then the third servant steps forward and explains himself. I was afraid, so I hid it. Here, it's all here, safe, untouched. And the master doesn't say thank you for being careful. He calls him wicked. He calls him lazy. And he takes everything away. Here's what most people miss entirely. The third servant wasn't punished for losing money. He was punished for letting fear make his decisions. And suddenly this story isn't about money anymore. It's about your life. What's remarkable is that modern psychology confirms exactly what this 2,000-year-old story teaches. Scientists call it loss aversion, and the research is striking. Studies show that the pain of losing $100 feels twice as intense as the joy of gaining $100. Read that again. Your brain is literally wired to fear loss more than it values gain, which means your brain is constantly working against your future. Every time an opportunity appears, your brain doesn't ask, what could I gain? It asks, what could I lose? And so it whispers, what if it goes wrong? What if you fail publicly? What if you lose the little you already have? And slowly, quietly, fear starts making your decisions for you. Not because you're weak, not because you're lazy, but because you're human. That's exactly what happened to the third servant. He wasn't protecting his future. He was protecting his comfort. And they are not the same thing. Now, let's stop talking about the servant. Let's talk about you. What have you buried? A business idea you keep returning to in your mind but never start? A skill you know could change your income but you never commit to? A dream you had 5 years ago that's still sitting exactly where you left it? A version of yourself you know you could become, but fear keeps convincing you it's not realistic. You didn't bury those things because you didn't want them. You buried them because fear convinced you it was safer underground. And here's the question that should keep you up tonight. What else is fear lying to you about? Here's the part nobody talks about. Fear doesn't stay the same size. Fear grows every time you obey it. The first time you avoid an opportunity, it feels uncomfortable. The 10th time, it feels normal. The 100th time, it becomes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who takes chances. You stop seeing yourself as someone who builds things. You start seeing yourself as someone who waits. And that story, repeated long enough, becomes the cage you live inside. The cost isn't just money. The cost is years. The cost is potential. The cost is the entire life you never got to live. Remember the question from the beginning? Why do some people transform their lives while others stay stuck forever? Here's the answer, and it's simpler than you think. The first 2 servants weren't rewarded because they succeeded. They were rewarded because they acted. The third servant wasn't punished because he failed. He was punished because he refused to try. That's the hidden lesson inside this story. The greatest risk isn't failure. The greatest risk is doing nothing. Because failure teaches you. Failure strengthens you. Failure gives you experience money can't buy. But doing nothing guarantees nothing changes. Right now, today, there are 2 versions of your future. Version 1, you keep waiting. You keep preparing. You keep saying soon. And a year from today, you're sitting in the exact same place, wondering why nothing has changed. Version 2. Today, not tomorrow, not Monday, not January. You take one step, one uncomfortable action, one decision that scares you slightly. A year from now, that person barely recognizes their old life. The difference between those two versions of you isn't talent. It isn't luck. It isn't intelligence. It's the decision you make in the next 24 hours. Jesus' story has survived for thousands of years because it reveals something most people spend their entire lives refusing to see. Fear feels like protection, but fear is the prison. The servant didn't lose because he took a risk. He lost because he was too afraid to live. So let me ask you one final question. How much longer are you willing to let fear write your story? Because today could be the day everything changes. It won't feel dramatic. It won't feel cinematic. It'll just feel like one small decision. But that decision, compounded over time, is the difference between the life you're living and the life you're capable of. If this video hits something inside you, subscribe, because every week I bring you lessons like this one, timeless, powerful, and built to change how you see your life. And before you leave, drop one answer in the comments. What is one thing you've been burying because of fear? The moment you name it out loud, you take the first step toward freedom.